The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the ProjectSight demo and Q&A. My name is Sean Rogers. I'm the Regional Sales Manager. And then I also have my colleague, Jane Oshozenko, on the line as well. She's going to be driving the show today. She's our ProjectSight Solutions Engineer. Just a couple of administrative items before we get started. Throughout the webinar, we do invite you to engage by asking questions using the question box that can be found in the GoToWebinar panel. We may have time to address some of these questions as we go throughout the different modules during our demonstration. However, we will try to get to those questions at the very end. This webinar will also be recorded and accessible on demand, which will be emailed to you tomorrow. There will be intermittent poll questions throughout, so we do encourage you to participate. At the end of the demonstration, we will have time to address those same questions that we were unable to answer during the presentation, as well as any additional questions that come up. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and pass this over to Jane, and Jane will go ahead and start showing you the ProjectSight software. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Sean, and welcome everyone to ProjectSight demonstration. I'm very happy that you all made it today. So first things first, just wanted to introduce what you're currently seeing on the screen before we actually head into different types of modules. So just really quickly, I'm actually logged in as my persona. His name is Jack Clifton. You can see his name here. And he's a project manager on one of the demo projects that I'm going to be showing you today. And what you're currently seeing right now is Jack is actually logged in into a commercial division, right? It's a portfolio level, which allows you to organize your projects. And now we're seeing all of the projects that Jack has either created or he was given access to, meaning he was invited to participate on a specific project. So everything that you see here will be available for Jack, and then Jack can also come in here and really quickly search for something. So if you find yourself creating lots of projects, right, in different type of phases, then we have all these different statuses that you can come in here and sort and filter by. This search panel tool will be available throughout different areas of ProjectSight. So you're kind of going to get used to that, filtering and searching for the records that are most relevant to you. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate into our demo project today called University Student Union and Wellness Center. And when I click on that, I'm going to be taken to a home page. So this is my homepage of my project, and I kind of like to talk about this screen in three ways. So I have the middle, left, and right. So in the middle, what's actually very interesting that you're going to be seeing is what we call project dashboard widgets. So here, for example, this box represents the work progress. Then we have some of the due items that are due in the next 7 days. You see overdue items, safety notices, action items. So those are all available widgets that each individual user can come and organize to their liking, right? So all the pertinent information that's important to that user, they can come in here and organize their widgets. These widgets are also interactive, so at any time, for example, if I'm looking at overdue items and click on potential change orders, then I get a list of all potential change orders that are in for the project, so I don't have to dig for information. It's kind of right there on the screen for me. So the second thing is on the right-hand side, you see my assignments here. So think of them as your to-do list, right? So when you're logging into the system, you kind of have an expectation of, hey, what needs my attention for this project? So those items are listed for you on the right-hand side. They go by order of modules that you see on the left-hand side. So you can easily and quickly navigate into that specific record. And also you have a little indication here if something perhaps like there's a few days that are remaining on this drawing set that I have to review, but in this case I have a potential change order that's been overdue, so you kind of have that visual indication of how many days you have remaining working for that specific record. And on the left-hand side, these are all the modules that ProjectSight consists of. And we'll pretty much go through every single one in a very high level. And the very first one that we're going to start with is drawings. So with that being said, I'm going to navigate into drawings, and I'm going to quickly show you how we can quickly upload drawings into ProjectSight and how we can interactively collaborate on the drawings on the field and do all the markups. So in the drawing set, this is an area where it allows you to come and upload a set of drawings, right? Whether it is, for example, maybe a construction 50% set or your bulletin one, right? This is just an area where we're going to come and upload that initial set, turn on our OCR, collaborate, making sure we are uploading the most current version, right, prior to kind of making available for everyone else on the project. So you can drag and drop, but I'm going to browse for a few files that I have here for this drawing. So I have maybe 20 drawings here, and they can be an individual PDF, or you can have one PDF with multiple pages. It doesn't matter. ProjectSight will read either option. So I just chose one drawing from my set, and I'm going to tell you exactly why I'm doing that, and I'm going to show what I'm going to do with the rest of them. So this is one drawing for the set. What I want to do is I want to turn my OCR, my optical character recognition, right? So make sure that if I have any callouts within this drawing and those other drawings are present within ProjectSight, it is going to create that hyperlink, right? So you can easily navigate between one drawing and the other. And then what I want to also do is I want to highlight some of the important key data on that sheet, right? So my sheet number, right? I want to maybe also get my title in, my revision data. And you don't have to, if you haven't captured it correctly or something, you can always change that and edit that at any point, right? I can also say what kind of discipline this is, right? And a group number. All right, and now I'm going to click next. And that sheet is going to populate in a grid right now, right? It's going to give me this line item that says this is one drawing. And now I'm going to browse for more because there's additional drawings for that set. So I'm just going to highlight all of them. And you will note how quickly ProjectSight is going to go and read the rest of those drawings, right? And then they're going to populate it on the background right there. So you just have to do the highlighting in the OCR one time, and you never have to do it again for that set. So now, as I'm uploading my set, right, I have the opportunity to come in here and just make sure that everything is populated is correctly, right? So I'm going to come in here and review things in background, right? So this is my grid. I'm going to come in here, just make sure all my numbers came through correctly. I see that the revision has been automatically picked up, right? Maybe I need to, adjust my drawing title, right? I want to make sure the status is approved for me publishing this, right? Maybe perhaps there's some custom fields. Maybe I want to tag this, right? Maybe as part of the building. So there's some additional custom areas where you can do that. And then I can come in here and also assign this drawing set to a user or groups, right? You kind of make sure, come into my comment area, collaborate, make sure things are good to go for publishing. Right? So this is internally, I publish, I review, and once you want to publish this drawing, it's going to ask if you would like to notify only persons that have been interacting with this drawing set initially, or you want to notify your all project team members, right, that something's been published and now they can go ahead and start interacting and collaborating on the drawing. So that is the drawing set, so how we get those drawings inside. So now let's actually take a look at the published drawings, and let's take a look how we're going to draw our markups and attach records. And then after that, we'll take a poll and we'll take a breather, but let's go ahead and navigate into drawings next. I'm not going to save that one. I'm going to just go back into drawings. And now I'm going to click on this box that says drawings, right? So those I'm accessing already published drawings. So just really few things about navigation with ProjectSight, and you've kind of gonna see this once, and then I'm not gonna be repetitive because you're gonna be like, okay, this is definitely something that I've seen before. So remember how we talked about the search panel right there, which gives me the ability to kind of filter down for the information that I need to see. And currently I have this filter that I don't want just all sets of my drawings. I only want to see the most current set, right? I want to see the most current set in discipline architectural. So as you can see, I have 97 drawings and they are being viewed to me in a tile view. But if you're very used to kind of like, you know, the Windows Explorer and you kind of want to see it in a list view, we have that option as well. Okay, and that's going to be available for you to any kind of record we're navigating into. Things will be the same. You have also an ability to kind of come in here and group, sort, as well as add any additional data, right? So if you're creating the slog of information of how you want to be seeing it, right? Maybe you don't want the revision date, but you maybe want the author company, right? So you can come in here and add additional columns, move them around. You can actually rename everything. So everything that you see here can be renamed. So if the standard drawing number, for example, doesn't fit your needs and you just want maybe like a symbol of number, you can rename in ProjectSight anything that you any attributes, any headers that can be changed as well. All right, so now let's go ahead and navigate into the drawing 8201. I have a few markups here, so it's going to be very colorful for us to take a look at what these markups represent. All right, so I'm going to actually zoom out here so you guys can see a little bit more. So number one, I want to point out that I clicked on this drawing, but I want to make sure that I'm in the most up-to-date drawing, right? So I'm making markings that are, you know, relevant to the most up-to-date drawing. So right on top there, you see current version, right? So you're always going to know that. If at any point we need to see any previous revisions for that drawing, I can simply click on this informational panel, and then come in here and select any other version, right? So if I wanted to go version 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it was previously, I can always navigate to that and then see what happened. We also have an ability for you to compare, right? So if there's any comparisons that you want to make to an older revision or possibly a different discipline, that is also available through our compare tool that's going to simply overlay and then highlight in the color of your choosing of the differences of that drawing. Another tool that I want to bring out to your attention, right? So I have a lot of markups here. I have RFIs, I have punch lists, I have attached BIM model, I have even photographs, right? That I was walking around in a job site and I opened up my iPad and I just snapped a photo of the electrical room, right? So we have the ability for you to kind of like get narrowed down to for example, if you're seeking a specific author or a specific company that made certain markings on this drawing, then you can come here and utilize our what we call a search layer tool, right? And kind of like, you know, get an idea of, okay, I only want to see RFIs, right? So I can come in here and say, show me only RFIs. And then you can also narrow it down. Okay, I want to see that, you know, it was created by a specific person. So that kind of gives you the ability to hone down to that specific information that you want to see. I'm going to go ahead and clear that. All right, and then let's talk about how we mark things up, and then let's talk about how we view information on here. So the markup tool is on the left, right? And there's a lot of options here. I can simply just draw something, circle, highlight. I can utilize cloud, other shapes here. We also have a quick link tool, so that gives you ability to like the highly utilized records. So for example, if there's an RFI, right, I can come in here and select this RFI, mark an area that I want to start this RFI at. And when I release, it is going to ask me if I want to create an RFI or potentially attach an RFI that's already been created in the system, but not yet linked to a drawing, right? And if I choose to create, I'm still staying within my drawing, but it's going to give you this right-hand side panel, and you can really quickly add a record right there and then, right? So it's going to just ask you to enter your subject, you know, choose any other options that you have for RFI, such as discipline, right? Importance, location. Then assign this RFI to someone, as well as you can enter your question fully here and also attach any supporting documentation or perhaps even other records. Right, so right here, you can create an RFI that's going to be linked to the drawing. And then everything is still going to stay within their own modules, respective modules, but everything's be interlinked, right? So at any point you will see what derived from what, and which RFIs will have drawings attached to them and so forth. And if you ever want to see the whole picture of like, okay, hey, what I want for you to show me everything that's been ever linked to this drawing, that this little link button right there on top will give you a good representation of how many files are attached, how many records are associated with that drawing, or how many designs are these little callouts that we have within the drawing. All right, aside from that, we also have a measuring tool, so you can calibrate any area of this drawing, and then you can calculate your distance, your perimeter, or an area. To view an existing record, for example, I have an issue 003 here. I can just simply click on that and be presented with that this is issue 03. It has, there's some kind of issue with sizing on the stairwell. And I can come in here and actually extend it a little more. So it's going to still give me the ability to see the drawing. And then on the right-hand side, I see the record. And then I'm also going to be seeing all of that information that involves with that issue, right? And who has the assignment, what was the resolution, or it's still in the works, right? So everything about this issue I can see here. I can also see that there's this colorful attachment here, and I see that it's actually a model view, right? So within ProjectSight, you can attach your model views of the BIM models that you have saved in Trimble Connect. So for those of you who don't know what Trimble Connect is, Trimble Connect comes with ProjectSight and is just another way for you to store all your project data, including your BIM 3D models, right? Interact with them, mark them up, do all kinds of attachments, viewing of the objects and all the properties of that objects, right? Create your to-dos. We also have a clash detection. So there's a lot of things you can do with a 3D model, but how it relates back to ProjectSight is that we can come in here and do all of our markups, attachments, and then when we create this very, very specific view of this 3D model, then we can come in here and attach it anywhere in ProjectSight. It doesn't have to be the drawings, it could be any other record. But here's, if I'm gonna link this right here, it's gonna give me an option to link to model view. And then that model view is gonna connect me to a Trimble Connect project that's gonna be similar, right? The same project, and it's gonna ask me which view you wanna connect, right? So that's the whole idea of you being able to interact with the 3D models, right? An area where you can upload them and easily communicate and distribute to your team members, right? And then at the same time, also have that seamless integration into ProjectSight. All right, so that was our homepage and drawings. And Sean, do we have any questions? Or I think we might be actually coming up to our poll at this time.
Yep, we have one question that popped up. So how customizable or configurable are the drop downs and tagging for record types? Jane, did you get that?
Sorry, that was for me. Can you repeat that again?
How customizable or configurable are the drop downs, tagging, examples for record types?
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. Sorry, I got cut off really quick. Yes, so that is very configurable. So anytime you see any kind of drop down in ProjectSight, that is all configurable. Anytime you see any item that you for example, a nomenclature of some sort, right, that's representing that record, that is all configurable for your all projects or individual projects. So that could be completed and done by someone who has access to the admin tools, and you don't need our help. We will teach you how to do that, but it's very easy to do.
Perfect, thank you. All right, let's go ahead and go into the first poll of the day. So I will go ahead and launch this on your screen, and we'll give you roughly about 20-30 seconds to go ahead and answer it. 10 more seconds. Excellent. All right, thank you very much. We'll go on to the next phase.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you all. All right, so next on our list is document control. So I just simply navigated out of the drawings and utilized the menu to get down to our next module, which is document control. So we do have quite a few modules here. There's 7 of them. Action items, right? So simply like to write on your to-do list. There's issues. We have meeting minutes, RFIs, submittal packages or submittals, right? We'll take a look at submittals, but it is a personal choice whether you want to create all submittals in submittals registry or start them off with a submittal package, just combine one or more. That's totally optional. And we also have transmittals and correspondence for your tracking of all your letters being received and sent. All right, so we'll take a look at RFIs next. So I'm going to click on RFI module. And what you're first going to be seeing is a list of all the RFIs that I have listed for actually, let me change my view to high. There you go. So these are all my RFIs that I have for this project, but they're of course, they are actually filtered. So I have my importance set to high. So I kind of like get a good understanding of what RFIs I have that need my attention right away. So this is the list that I have, right? You can obviously come in here and remove those filterings and create whatever you guys need to do to create these different views. So once you filter for something in ProjectSight, right, maybe it's by status or an attribute, I can come in here and create, as you can see, I have a few views here, but you can come and easily say, for example, you know, I'm just going to put today's day, July 22nd. I had to actually look at my calendar to make sure I got the date right. Click on save, right? Maybe I want to say open RFIs, right? So now I actually have this saved, and now I don't ever have to come in here and filter for it again. Next time I'm logging in, the ProjectSight is going to know that this is the last view we're on. So it kind of like gives you, it's narrowing it down of information that you need to see. You also see that I have it grouped by discipline, right? So this view allows you not only to get that information right away, but it also gives you ability to print this view, right? So this we call ad hoc reporting. So once you save this view, you can actually come in here into this report module. And let's say you filter down for, you know, high importance, discipline, open status. Maybe you want another attribute such as like, you know, author, company, this. So then you can come in here and do your ad hoc reporting, right? So now you can have this on the go report at any minute with the information that you have provided. Just a quickly on the reporting. So as we are, like, for example, going into our meeting, right, because we're going to have 2 meeting minutes next, we go into our meeting, we need a list of all the open RFIs, right, as of today. Then I can come in here and choose an ad hoc report that I just created, or we also provide you with a list of all the report templates. There's close to 300. So anything from summary to a detailed log, you'll be able to come in here and easily view, download, or email straight out of the system, right, with your ability to compose and kind of like select what subject and body you want for that email. And then also we allow you to not only report on that project, but all projects within the portfolio, right? So we have what we call cross-project reporting. So that comes in handy if you need just to have one report, but for all projects, right? If it's a very high meeting you're going to. We also give you the ability to, of course, include any other details. So if there's any supporting documentation, such as photographs, maybe, or there's a different record, right? Everything is going to be in there, so you can easily navigate into those items from the report. And of course, the report options is Excel, PDF, or Word. All right. Now maybe I'm just going to go ahead and actually view this report. It's going to have a logo of the company that Jack is working for, just to give you a little feel of what that feels like. And these options for reports are going to be the same throughout with our ProjectSight. So this is just what it looks like, a very simple summary log with answers. All right, so now with RFIs, right? So I'm actually going to let's take a look at maybe an RFI that I already have in here. Let's see, 66. There we go. So to view an RFI that's already in the system, I'm just going to click on it, right? And then I can also see it on the right-hand side, or I can further expand the record. So I can expand the record. It's going to open up in a different window. And that one is going to give me a little more details about this RFI. So on the right-hand side, I'll always have the number and the current workflow status. These workflow statuses are configurable, right? So this is just a sample of what I have. You can have as many workflows as you need with all different, they also can be color-coded here as well. Date creation and due date, that can be calculated based on settings. So if you know how long you usually typically have your RFIs completed from start to finish, you can set that due date automatically, as well as also the discipline drop down and importance, right? These are all configurable as well. Anytime you see a drop down, that's you could be adding to that. You can also have location, right? And then the assign to area, that is going to give you the ability to assign this this record to a person or a group, right? And that gives you just ability to assign this. This person is going to receive a notification via email that something's been assigned to them. And then we also give you an option to reply via email, so you don't necessarily have to log in back to ProjectSight to log in your answer or any attachments. A person can just receive a notification that RFI 66 has been assigned to them, and they can simply reply via email, right, and attach any documentation, and we'll definitely post it here back in this area, right? So recently I had a prospect who had to assign it to the owner, but the owner's local servers were not allowing them to open any other software that that was outside of their own little world. So that's a tool, that's something that they were very excited about, the ability to respond via email and not having to log into a system. And so in the middle here in the comments area, this is where the actual collaboration, right? So think of like you texting between all the different people that were assigned to this. So this is the question. I know someone would come in here and would answer this, right? Maybe this has been reviewed, right? And then you can come in here and also add additional attachments, right? If you are replying and maybe like you need to record an RFI response, I can come in here and also attach any files or potential other records as well. And in my response, you can also log an RFI response. So that's going to basically make it like an official response. So for reporting purposes, you have that very clearly listed. The impact tab, sometimes RFIs and issues, right, they might result in potential change of scope, right, whether it's dollar or schedule impact. And we have the ability for you to come in here and indicate that internal cost, right, that little flag that something might be potentially impactful in regards to amount. So you can come in here and specify that and run your reports. And additionally, you can also utilize the link ability to come in here and start a potential change order, right? So if we actually know this is going to result in a change of $1, I can come in here and start my potential change order right away. The RFI is going to be attached to potential change order. Potential is going to have RFI, so you kind of have that paper trail, right, of where it derived from, where it started, and everything is going to be connected, so you can go between all the different links and attachments. Additional info, if there's something that we're not capturing on the informational panel, right, there's some additional information that you must record for your organization. Would you provide you with the ability to create your own custom fields? Those are available for every single module in ProjectSight. And of course, history. For full transparency, every single record in ProjectSight has a history. And this is where we record and timestamp and date everything that's been going on, right? So if Jack has exported and printed and emailed a report, this will be timestamped here. If something has changed, right, if there's cost impact that changed, right, it's going to show you the old and new values. So for full transparency, now no more second guessing of who changed something on RFI that has potential big outcomes. You can come in here and always get that information from here. So that's RFIs, and now let's take a look at a few other records. I want to make sure we don't run out of time. So for document control, let's take a look at meeting minutes. And then we quickly look at some submittals before heading to our next item. So for meeting minutes, right? So I'm going to take a look at this this meeting right here that I have for OAC, owner, architect, contractor. I'm just going to show you some of the few highlights that we have in regards to meeting minutes. All right, so give it 1 second. It's going to load the meetings. So meeting minutes are used for managing, right, all your topics, your invitations, your notes for your meetings, right? And then we also give you the ability to create a series of related meetings and then carry forward any outstanding topics to the next meeting as needed. So, and I'm going to show you how easily this is done. So these are the meeting minutes, right? I have all these different items that I have here for this meeting. I can actually expand this a little bit and get this rich text area here where I can make all my additional notes and descriptions for this item. I can always come in here and, you know, create my topic. I can add my description. For each item, I can specify a responsible company. I can track my status here, my date created, right? So I can track every single line item, right, where it originated from. So very, very detailed area of how I can track these items. And actually straight from these items, right, you can actually, we have this new enhancement that allows you to create new action item. So if you click on the plus sign, that's actually allow you basically to do like create a to-do list and assign this to someone so they can get a notification instantly. On the bottom here, you can send the invitation to attendees, and then as you're holding the meeting, right, you can come in here and make, you know, mark them present or absent and so forth. When you send the invitation, they will get a notification that there's a meeting that's occurring. When you have completed your meeting, right? So you've marked all your items, right? You went over your meeting items, then you're ready to schedule next meeting. You can simply click on this button to create next meeting. It is going to give you an option to when this next meeting is going to be scheduled to, and all of the items that you're going through, right? All the open items will actually be presented here, and you can actually like come in here and decide which items you want to carry over into your next meeting. All right, so kind of like gives you a little it's a time saving tool and gives you kind of ability to, right, to make sure you always stay on top of the items that are still open and tracking everything for the meetings that you're creating. So that's our meeting minutes. And then quickly, let's go to submittals. We'll take a look at that. So back to document control. Like I mentioned, you could use submittal packages right away if you know that, I mean, there could be multiple use cases, but if you know that you need to create a submittal, right, that's going to go to one company, one person, right, then you can just combine them right away. You can create them there. If you just rather like import them or create submittals, and if you're not sure if you're going to package them, then you can come in here as well. It's just a personal choice, right? So in the submittals, just like an RFI and the drawings log, right, number one thing you're going to see right here is a log of everything that's been in the system, right? So these are 453 submittals. That's quite a lot. That's my submittal log. But don't forget that you can always come in here and filter for that specific submittal that you're looking for, and then create a log so you never have to keep searching and filtering for that information. So I'm actually going to show you one of the submittals that I already have in the system here. I'm going to actually expand this record and show you what it looks like when everything is filled out and the submittal looks filled out and beautiful as it is now. All right, so submittal 100, right on top, it has to do with ceramic tile. This is my subject. On the right-hand side, I just have like high-level information, just like with RFI. I have the number of the submittal, the current workflow, right? So it looks like it's been sent to designer. And then here I have revision, my spec section, right? These are the spec sections that I have from the system. You can easily import those in the settings. Created on final due date. Final due date, you can automatically set it to to calculate in our tracking. We'll get that in 1 second. The product, you can specify what type of submittal this is, importance. If it was part of the submittal package, then it's going to have a link to submittal package here. So you'll be able to just quickly get into the submittal package and then see everything that's been involved in that package. And then here I also have the subcontractor option, right, to choose a subcontractor. And on the bottom here, you would add people that you want to participate on the submittal, right? So those people they want to get notified, and those people that you want constantly communicate with and have response as needed, right? So you can assign the due dates as well here. In the middle, just like an RFI, the comments area is for collaboration, right? So everyone who's been assigned to the submittal comes here to actually make their comments, right? So do everything that they would normally do, perhaps in a in an email or text setting, right? You would make sure you want to capture everything here. In the tracking area, this is where if you are utilizing the lead times to set the due date, like I have here, if you know your approval, fabrication, delivery time, the amount of time that it takes, you can utilize that to set your final due date, and or come in here and track these days, right, of that material that needs to be on the job site at the right time. And if these times don't work for you, you need additional times. Like I had a prospect recently who was tracking about, I want to say 55 different dates, right? When it was sent to designer, when it was gotten back, when it was sent to architect. So just wanted to read it. Like, if we don't have something here, we can always get it to you via the custom fields. So here's all additional fields, right, that you can possibly have for the submittal. And of course, the history, right? Everything that you're doing is going to be recorded here, and you can always come back here and look at that information. Same options as any other record, right? You have the ability to copy, print this record, and also here in the links is always going to be there with any record, and that is just the beauty of this, is that it allows you to link this record to any other record that exists in ProjectSight, right? Whether it's a file, whether it's a drawing, whether it's a spec, whether it's an action item or a checklist, it does not matter. We can come in here and link this submittal to the rest of the world in ProjectSight. All right, so that was our introduction to document control, and now we are going to navigate into the field management, and we'll talk about what that entails and what options do we have for you for field management. So field management, 6 different submodules. We have checklist. Checklist is basically another way of saying I have this very unique form in Microsoft Word format that I'm currently using in my organization, and I need you to create it on ProjectSight. And this is where we say, yes, we can make it happen. We can create a checklist, whether it's a QA/QC, whether it's an inspection, delivery, COVID-19 checklist, you name it, checklists are it. We'll talk about that. Daily reports, right, where we can have automated weather detection, field observations, notices to comply, punch items, and safety notices, right? So a lot of good stuff here, a lot of things that people use in the field. And if you ever find yourself that, for example, you're not using some of them, for example, I had a client who didn't really much use field observations, so they actually repurposed the module to something else. So that is also possible. So now let's take a look at our checklist. Let's take a look at what that entails and what that actually represents. All right, so checklist, you probably know this by heart now, right? I don't have to tell you. Checklist, and these are all the checklists that actually been filled out. So I have 13 right now, and that's because I have them said, show me those that are pending approval. All right, you can see also that they're also organized by module, right? So module meaning basically like, okay, the name of the form, like the name of the forms. If they belong to QA/QC, these are gonna be all my forms for that. If I have safety forms, they're gonna be grouped by that. So the way we get those templates in, so when I click on the plus sign, this is going to allow me to see all those different modules, right? And now I can pick a checklist template that I want to fill out. The way we create those checklist templates, right, is you would create them in the beginning of your project. You would simply create them. You can export, import them from other projects. You can copy them from other projects, but you would just you would just create them once and then update them as needed. And then once they're published, right, they're meaning like, okay, someone else can start using that template, they will appear in this list right here, right? This is approved checklist list. So now let's take a look at, I know I have this one, detailed safety inspection. Let's take a look at that one. So that's a safety checklist. So maybe I'm a superintendent on the job site and I need to record this and perhaps then have this checklist be part of my daily report, right? So I can come in here and look at this checklist. And this is a very simplified version. This is different sections such as job information, housekeeping. Then they have these different line items, and each line item has a very generic pass, attention required, NA. But we also can have different fields here. So if you need to add additional field, maybe you need to add a date or a text or a memo box, we can also bring them up here. And then each individual line item can be assigned to someone. So if you're doing this inspection, but you want to assign it to someone else to review or be responsible to actually answer it, they can come in here and this line item can be assigned to this person individually, and they also can come in here and comment on that item. With the checklist, there's also approvals. So if you want different folks to have their approval, they can come in here and perhaps approve this checklist, and then that's going to be stamped with a date and time. And of course, like everything else, additional info and history, that's always going to be present with all of the modules in ProjectSight. So that's just a quick intro to checklist. There's numerous amount of checklists. You're not limited to how many you can make, and these are also available on the iPad, ProjectSight iPad. All right, so go back to field management, and we'll take a look at daily reporting. I'm going to click on View All. I'm not filling one out because I think I already have one filled out that I'm ready to review and approve hours for. So daily report, it is going to give you a list of all of the reports that are ready for review. I'm going to take this one because I think there's a few hours here. So I'm going to click on the 623, and I'm just reviewing this this daily report that's been entered by few people that were on the job site. So daily report, 4 sections. There's weather, labor, equipment, and notes. Weather can be manually entered, so I can come in here at any time and view and edit my weather. I remember I can only edit this or add if I'm permitted to do so. Right now, I'm logged in as a project manager, so I have those capabilities. But at any point, if you are restricting access, right, such as a section of this daily report that has to be restricted, maybe you're having your sub enter the dailies, but you want them to only view information or add only, the notes portion of it, right, or only comment, then we have that granularity where you can not only specify which section they can fill out, but we can also remove them from actually viewing it. So weather, if it's automated weather, it actually can pick it up from the weather station, so you can easily get that. It's going to be automatically populated here. Labor, so this is labor. We have very detailed labor. As you can see here, I have labor for Irish Concrete, and it's actually going by a crew, and each crew can have its individual crew member here, and you can do classification and trade, and pre-fill the hours and the start and end times. This is the Jack. He's the project manager, so he is seeing right now the daily reports that have been submitted by a few companies, right? But if you were a subcontractor adding your hours just for your company, they won't be able to see any other entries made by other companies or crews. All right, so I can come in here and look at my hours. I can come in here and review all the description and notes of what happened on the job site, and then approve hours as I go, right? So whether you're allowing someone else to come into ProjectSight and enter hours for you, or whether you're doing it for them, there's multiple ways to do that. With labor, you can also copy. So we understand that sometimes you need to labor will be sometimes the same from day to day, or there's a job that's going to be out there for 3 weeks and you're going to be doing the same type of labor. So then we do have an option for you to copy labor from specific days, right? So anytime you can copy labor, and it's going to be populated here. Equipment, you can track equipment here. The quantity in hours, right, and by the company that was using it, and also the in notes section, right, that's everything going to be from the checklist that you've attached, right, to those inspections that we just talked about earlier. Maybe there's some files, right, that you've taken some photographs on the iPad, you need to attach them here, right, everything can be also attached to this daily report. So at the end of the day, right, when you have to make your report or go back in time, then you can see that everything that was necessary for that day, for the job site, is going to be here as one piece of information, right, that you will need. All right, I'm going to click done and just quickly go over one more item in the field management that's called punch list before we're going to move over to other areas. So punch items. All right, so this is my punch, and as you can see, you can probably already tell how intuitive the software will be, right? So hopefully that if you guys ever get, get ProjectSight, that I want you to see how easy it's going to be for you to adapt to the software, and your, all the users within your organization, is that you know what to expect, right? So if you learn how to do RFIs and how to search for information and how to use the log and how to view it, you pretty much are going to know how to do it in the next section, right? So as far as like training your crews and how to do that, that's going to definitely reduce your implementation time and your training time, because it is very intuitive. This was the whole idea behind it, right? So punch items. Once again, the list of all my punch items for this project, right? So we can use the punch items to track work that must be done. Right before that, certificate of final completion can be issued, right? So punch items can be assigned to someone who ensures that those items are completed, fixed, or redone according to specifications. And then you can close the record, after the work has been verified. So we can take a look at one of the punch item that's here. I'm going to actually extend this. So you can create them on their own. But you can also, attach either drawings to them, or you can mark the drawing with the punch, right? So it's just a matter of how you operate. But with this specific punch item right here, it has to do with reviewing of the holes, right, that I have in this drawing. There's actually a photograph here. I can also see that there's a drawing here, and if I expand this drawing, it's going to be opened up with that specific location and where that punch item has been identified at, right? So I can come in here and then look at that drawing and then see exactly where it derived from. Very, very simple, right? It's very simplified form than you saw earlier for example, from our fire submittals. You just have the status here, right? So maybe it's open, maybe it's work not accepted, maybe it's ready to inspect. So all these configurable drop-down options created on due date, the type of punch, importance, location, and then of course the ability to assign this to someone, right, to review and complete, and also create your courtesy copies. So very simple. In the comments area, once again, you can collaborate, enter a comment, log something as a resolution, and then you have your additional info tab and history for that punch as well. All right, so this will be the end of field document control and field management. Sean, I'm just going to check in quickly with you before we move to budget and cost to see if there's any questions. And I think we have one more, Paul.
Yeah, no questions at this point. However, we do have that poll that come up. So I'm going to go ahead and launch that on your screen. So I'll give you 20, 30 seconds to go ahead and put in your selections.
Awesome, thanks.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you all. Well, we have about I think it's like 11 minutes left. So I'm going to give you a very, very high level overview of budgeted cost. This is a very intense module, right? Because we have so much in regards to your project financials here, right? Everything from the budget creation to your application for payments, we have everything. So it will take quite some time to get over every single thing, but I just wanted to give you a high level introduction into what we have. So we'll just quickly go over the budget and potential change orders. And if we have a little bit more minute, I'll go over some of the contract invoices. But let me just quickly introduce you to this. So budget and commitments. We have an area where you can create your budget, right? So what do you have allocated to complete the project. Then you can write out your subcontractors as well as your prime. You can keep them all in here. We have forecast here as well. We have purchase orders. In a change management, in ProjectSight, any change starts with potential change order, right? And then you have an option to combine one or more and create a change order, right? And send it off for approval with your multiple change orders to save some time. And then we also have optional subcontract change orders and prime contract change orders. With payments, we have everything from contract invoices, right, to your subs billing you. We have general invoices, those items that are those expenses against the project's budget. And then we also have application for payments, right, where you're asking the owner to pay for your information, right? And then we have G702, G703 forms, and ability to, with one ease, 2 clicks, add all of the contract invoices, general invoices, and all the change orders that you want to attach to application for payments, right? So a great time saver there. With that being said, let me go ahead and introduce you to budget. It's kind of like a really nice screen where you can see all of your high-level information of your projected over, under, where you're standing. It's kind of your financial screen. So I can give you a little introduction to this area. So budget view on top there, really quickly, this is like my summary bar that explains of where you started. So your original budget, right? So the sum of all the original budget line items here. We have projected budget, right? So the sum of all the current budget, pending, approximate, right? We have projected cost, right? And then also projecting over under. This project is not doing so good right now, but that's going to be a clear indicator of, you know, kind of like where you stand right now. So budget codes right here, they can be entered manually or imported. You can import very easily into ProjectSight. This pretty much exists on every single record. So anytime you see an up and down error, that means you can import into the system. When you're creating the line item, right? Sometimes you call it cost code or budget code or whatever it is called. I have a very simple, I have 4 segments here, right? I have it by phase, spec, section, category, and type. ProjectSight does allow you to create up to 9 different segments, meaning that if your ERP solution, right, is requiring, you know, more than 4, then we can definitely accommodate and we can integrate with your ERP because we have that ability. So these different budget codes. So for example, I'm going to take this one, for example, my contingency material. I'm going to click on that. And each budget code will have its own level of transactional history. So as you can see here, this is my budget code, but this is all my transactions on the bottom that happen to it. And on the right, the little colorful areas, the purple represents the budget. So we have original budget columns, we have current budget, right? Any pending revisions or where it might end up if everything is approved, right? So what are my projected budget? And then I scroll to the right, it goes in yellow to commitments, right? So if there's any commitments against the budget code, I have it here. Same columns. And then as I move forward, I have current over, project over, under. And then I get into my actuals, right? So all of the contract and general invoices that go against it. And anytime you want to navigate into that specific one, you can navigate into this link right here, and it's going to open up to that record specifically. Right, so that's just like that level of detail for that specific budget code. This screen right here, I only use this screen to add the budget information, the budget line item, right, with the original budget information. Everything else that you see here, original budget, like everything besides original budget, right, like pending revisions, approximate, original commitments, those are just items that get refreshed, but you enter those records in their respective modules. So this is just like a high level information that gets refreshed all the time. It's like a financial screen where you can navigate into and see that information of what's been going on. All of these columns can be renamed. As you can see here, I have some of the guided kind of like A, B, C, D to see where, you know, all of my columns are, but at any point you can come in here and remove or add columns as needed. So that's the budget, and I'm going to quickly show you what a few other things that we have here. So the contracts, really quickly. So after we create the budget, we can create our contracts. So here, this is where you would identify what type of contracts you have and what kind of contracts you want to enter into the system, right? So for example, I have a contract here, so I'm going to actually do this one. Additional concrete. So this is my contract, and when you create the contract in ProjectSight, it's going to ask you what type of contract it is, and you can actually, you know, create initially like what type of contracts you have, whether they're consultant agreements, they're subcontractor agreements, or perhaps they're prime contracts. So you'll be able to identify that and apply all kinds of rules and accounting rules to it, right, to make sure we adhere to all of the rules of the contract. It is a pretty detailed screen, but one thing I want to point out is the fact that you are able to come in here and add your schedule of values. So I only have one here, but you can have, you know, as many as you like, and this is what practically is gonna translate into your contract invoice, right? And that's how you would want to see your subs bill you. So that schedule of values is going to come over to the contract invoice, so it's going to be very, very handy and easy to start invoicing against it. Our contracts also have a tab for change orders, so you'll also be able to monitor and see any change orders that have been approved for the contract, as well as any potential change order items that are pending, and then you can create a change order right from here. And about potential change orders, so as things, you know, come along and there's a need for, you know, for change to be entered into the system, right, whether it's derived from owner directives, bulletins, or just simple change of original plans. PCO, what we call potential change order ProjectSight, is a starting point for all change order process, right? So it actually makes it possible from a change to go from a possible, right, from might happen, like we saw in RFI, to an actual changes that impact a budget and cost. So PCO moves it from being possible to being actually part of the change order. So I'm actually going to look for one of the change orders that I've been working on. So I think it's going to be, let's see, yeah, it's add additional room. So I'm this one right here. So with potential change order, what we do is when we add a line item to the change order, we basically divide it into 3 sections here, right? It's actually 4, but we have an estimation. So when we estimate something, right? So maybe you'll know that you need additional material for adding this extra room. We'll come in here and search for our budget code, which I'm going to choose the contingency material. I'm going to come in here and internally estimate that it might cost me an extra $10,000, right? And then you would send this item off to the subs, so you can assign this to this individual line item to a company or an individual person that's part of the company, right? And they can come back in here and do their proposed amount. They can attach all of the documentation. And then hopefully when you send it over for owners to approval, right, hopefully that's going to be, you know, close to what you estimated, right? And then we use different types of allocations, right, to kind of track of that progress. So I know I just simply typed it all up really quickly, my estimation, proposed, approved, but it's actually takes some time, right? So you'll be working through this one area, and you'll go from estimate to finally getting it approved. But we have these different allocations that will help you throughout that cycle of the potential change order. And these are the areas of how they actually affect the financial summary screen that you saw, right, to kind of give you a representation of if something's been approved or if something is pending at this time. So high level, but I just wanted to let you know that this is an area where you track your PCOs. Each individual line item can be sent to its own sub, right? So they not necessarily will see their information, and they will only see an area where they can enter their proposed amount. Right, so that's potential change order. And of course, there's a lot more to the budget and cost. It's a very intense module with that provides you, all your project financial needs. But this was just a quick view, and hopefully you guys like what you saw. I think this concludes my portion of the budget and cost and actual demo. Sean, do we have any questions that I can help answer?
At this point, no. I mean, I think we are good to go. Just want to thank you all for joining the webinar today. Just some final reminders. We will be sending an email with the recording for your review. And then we are going to have a quick survey at the end of this once we close this out. So feel free to fill that out before you go. And again, thank you for joining the webinar, and we hope you got all the information you need. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you all.